I'm just sitting in the studio just trying to get to you, babe.
Yo, what's up my viewers? KA touching down, and first things first, if you're wondering where the hell I've been, like why I've not been active on like any social media, Snapchat, WhatsApp, Instagram, whatever, it's because, oh my days, you're not going to believe this, I lost my iPhone 10. I don't know where the hell I put it, so I've not had a way of communicating anyhow. Like, I've not updated my Instagram in ages, I've not tweeted much, I've just been on a mission to find it, but the thing is, it wasn't insured, so I guess if I don't find it, I've lost £1,200, or I've got another £1,200 to spend, so I'm back on the good old iPhone 7. There's nothing wrong with it, I guess it's still an awesome phone, but when you're used to the 10 and you're back on older technology, it's not quite the same. So yeah, sad news. But aside from that, guys, welcome back to Studio Talk. It's the second time ever filming this. I'm thinking of actually starting a separate channel for like these discussion talks and whatever, but I'll see how it goes, and I'll probably get around to that in the new year kind of thing if I do it. So yeah, today we're going to talk about elite YouTuber Zoella and how she is a racist, homophobic bigot that just rips off children. Can you believe the nerve? Nah, neither can I. I'm just messing with you guys. Like, I love Zoella. What I'm actually going to do is talk about some of the hate she's been getting and tell you guys why I think a lot of it's unfair and address a lot of that. So there's kind of two issues been going around this week regarding Zoella. The first one was her 12 Days of Christmas advent calendar she released, and the second one was something altogether more sinister. So let's start with the calendar issue. So Zoella released her Christmas collection in Boots, which is, I guess, our equivalent of Walgreens or CVS kind of thing. So in that collection, she had a few little notepads, stationaries, makeup bags, candles, little bits, that kind of stuff. And also the main piece, her 12 Days of Christmas advent calendar, which went on sale for about £50. That's kind of about €60, $65, that kind of region. And in that calendar, she had various items like a couple of candles, confetti, stickers, a pen, little makeup bag, and a few other bits and pieces. And people legit went mad over this, saying, oh my god, how can she sell this little for £50? Look what you're getting. I think a few YouTubers did unboxings of it, and people added it up, and they found out if you purchase the items separately, you can get them for kind of £20 to £25. Although I should point out, the few places that I did see that added it up, they didn't add it up with Zoella products. They actually added up with various other products off sites like Amazon and different places like that. So it's perhaps not a like-for-like comparison. But even if you go with that, you're kind of looking at £25 for the pieces, and then they said, oh well, how could Zoella inflate the price so much to £50? Now Zoella's defense for this was that with a product like this, she has creative control. That's over the design, the packaging, the branding, that kind of thing. And Boots or her manufacturing company, that's the company that actually makes the products, they have business control. That is basically setting the price, looking at how it's distributed, whether it's going to be sold online or in certain stores or in every store, and availability, that's, are we going to make it limited edition or not? Okay, now this is pretty much the case for most celebrity endorsements, YouTube deals, that kind of stuff. If you take the makeup artists, for example, I'm not talking about the ones that have their own collection like Rihanna or Huda or whatnot. I'm talking about, if you look at the ones that do the collabs with, say, Becca, Anastasia, Morphe, in all those cases, the influencers will typically pick the colors, have some say over the packaging, how they want it to be wrapped, how they want it to look when you pick it up, if it's maybe got a mirror on the inside, all those little things. And the main company, that's the one that actually makes the products, will decide what the formula is, what they're going to sell it at, and how they're going to market it. The reason for this is because it's the big company that tends to be the one that is bankrolling the project, that's investing into it. So when you look at a palette that comes out, the company will actually make it. They will take on the brunt of the financial risk, and because of that, they get most of the business control. The influencer typically gets 5 to 10% of the whole product. So in the case of the Zoella advent calendar, you're talking her maybe getting £3 to £5 per unit. That is purely speculation from my part. I'm just looking at how it works with deals with other influencers, and I'm guessing hers will kind of be the same. If it's not, then I stand to be corrected. Now, assuming all that's true and we take a statement at face value, Zoella can take an issue with the pricing of the product, and she can say to a manufacturing company or Boots, look, I don't want to sell the product at this price. I just want to pull my name off it. I don't want to be associated with it. That is something that can happen. However, it has big repercussions for her if she does do that, because the contract that she'll have signed with the various companies to make the project happen will most likely have a clause that if she does take that option, she will be liable for damages. That is, that she will have to pay for all the costs of manufacturing herself, any losses Boots may have occurred in branding deals, that's advertising the products or whatnot, and those can amount to pretty big costs pretty quickly. So yeah, that summarizes her defense for it. I personally think it's believable just looking at the way these kind of deals work normally. I guess it'll be up to you guys and whoever else to decide if they want to believe her or not. So then we come on to the issue of, is it affordable and is it overpriced? Now, affordable is a word that I don't really like because it means different things to different people. It's very relative. Somebody that works part-time on national minimum wage is going to think twice before spending £50 on anything pretty much. And then you can have somebody earning 2 mil a year that can blow money on pretty much what they want within reason. I guess they can't buy private jets, but you get what I mean. So given that, is it wrong to set the price at £50? Personally, I don't believe so. I think manufacturers and brands can set the price at what they want, what they think the item is worth, and kind of where they want to place it in the marketplace. If you take the advent calendar as a product itself, that is a luxury item. It's not a necessity. It's not something that people need. It's something that you buy for yourself or your children or whoever, just for a bit of fun, to have something to open every day and count down the days to Christmas. The ones that are probably the most famous are the Cadbury ones. They cost between £1 and £1.50. The ones I normally get are the Thornton's ones because the chocolate tastes a bit nice, has a bit better quality. They cost around £7. And then you get ones like this. 10 grand, 24 days. I know it's a rare whiskey, but 10 grand in 24 days is a pretty high amount. But then again, like I said, if you're on 2 mil a year, 10 grand isn't going to hurt you too much. So with an item such as the Zoella Advent Calendar, you're paying for two things. Number one is you're paying for the brand. It is a branded item by a designer. In this case, the designer happens to be a YouTuber, but it's still a branded item. Now with branded items, they always typically cost more than the same unbranded item. If you look at this cotton t-shirt here, it costs £2.50. If you look at that same t-shirt with a Billionaire Boys Club logo on it, it costs £50. That's a huge markup. I find it hard to believe that the Billionaire Boys Club t-shirt actually costs near enough £50 to make. It probably doesn't even cost 10% of that. But obviously you pay that price because of the brand. But the second and main reason that people buy this item is because they want to support the influencer. So I have merchandise from Philip DeFranco, Casey Neistat via Billy, Logan Paul, Jake Paul, Huda, Jacqueline Hill, and now Zoella. I will be buying this calendar just to show support for her. And I also support a few other YouTubers I like via either their own subscription services or Patreon. Main reason is that when you buy these items, it's not because you necessarily like the items. It may well be that, but it's also because you know that you're spending money to help your favorite creators do what they love doing best. And I find it hard to complain when it's luxury items like this because you go to airports and sometimes you've got to pay near enough £10 or $10 for a bottle of water, and that's when I start complaining because you don't have other options. With things like YouTubers and buying merchandise, I will say that's a bit of an extra thing because the main way to support a YouTuber is obviously by watching and liking their content, and that helps them make a bit more money. And I tend to buy the merch of the people I want to give that extra bit of support to. It's the best way possible, and them releasing merch is a way to say to the fans, you can support me but you'll still get something out of it. And I actually quite like that model. And I think what a lot of people forget is that full-time YouTubers do need to make money. They have bills to pay. Some of them have families to support. They have to invest in equipment. They have to invest in time. It takes a lot of effort to plan these videos. It's not just put a camera on, sit there and record. It takes a lot of effort, especially I consider myself kind of amateur and it still takes a lot of time to put a video together. So for the people that do it full time and make everything look super professional and whatnot, like it takes a lot of effort, and they do need to get paid because if they don't, a lot of them won't be able to make content anymore, and that will take some of the quality out of YouTube. I think YouTube is best by having as much high quality content in there as possible. So the more creators, the better. The more high quality content, the better. But those people still need to be rewarded for their hard work because it does take time and money to do it. And now I'm sure a lot of the skeptics are thinking I haven't addressed the main issue, which is that Zoella's target audience is children. They're kind of 12 to 16 year olds that watch her channel, so they can't necessarily afford that kind of stuff. Well, that's true. I mean, if I had gone to my mother when I was 12 and said, can I get an advent calendar that costs £50? Like, she'd have just looked at me and been like, are you on crack? Well, she doesn't use that language, but it would have been something along those lines like, you're stupid, you're getting a £1 calendar from Sainsbury's. It's one of those things. And what I'll say here is that I don't see it as exploitation because parents realistically decide what's worth spending their money on based on if they can afford it and if their children need it and they think they'll benefit from it. So you've got some parents that don't earn a lot of money and they can't afford to get their children a lot of nice things, so they will buy them what they can. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you've got parents that buy their kids LV bags, the latest game every time it comes out, the latest console. They've got the high-end MacBooks, computers. And then you've got some parents that even buy their 16-year-old kids 200 grand supercars. So I think with that, as harsh as it sounds, it's a case of if you can't afford champagne, you can't afford champagne. It's clearly being branded as a high-end product. Obviously, with that comes a high-end price tag. That said, Boots have now slashed the price of the calendar to £25. So I guess they have listened to feedback and thought this isn't the best idea, it's the wrong pricing point, and we're going to make it a bit easier for everyone. And again, this to me isn't a huge issue. It's a case of a retail strategy that's kind of gone wrong. Boots responded, they changed the price, they made it easier for everyone. And ultimately, I think it's your choice as a consumer for whatever reason to decide, I want to buy the product or I don't want to buy the product. Personally, I will be buying it just because I want to show support to her. And that's about that. I'll probably end up giving half of the products away to my friends because I have no use for them. But yeah, and now we come on to the bigger issue of, wait for it, Zoella getting blasted over tweets she sent from 5 to 8 years ago. The earliest ones were kind of January 2010 from what I've seen, and the latest ones were from 2012. 5 years ago, people are bringing this up. And let's go through what she said. Imagine branding yourself as sweet and family friendly when you tweeted these, #Zoella is over party. Why are these clothes so expensive? Because they're designer, you tramp. That there in your hand is a dress worth over £2,000, haha. I find it funny when gay men spit, it's like they're trying to be a bit macho, but never works. That awkward moment when you escort a lady into the fitting rooms to try on bras and you say, let me know if you need any help, #lesbo. Why did that fat chap go and stand next to him? Was she George's wingman? Erg, #X Factor. And why do these parents insist on beefing up their obese children? Just give them water and some veg and tell them that's all they're getting. #Channel 4. Okay, so I've taken the ones that people seem to be most angry about and let's address them one by one and see how bad they actually are. So regarding the one about the £2,000 dress, like, I don't know why people are getting so angry over this. If I go and stand next to a Tesla or a BMW i8 or a Koenigsegg and look at the car and be like, why is this car so pricey? Someone's going to turn around to me and say, well, because it's a BMW or a Tesla or a Koenigsegg. Like, there's a reason why certain things cost more than others. We've already discussed that a lot. And when you see people complaining about it literally all the time, it does get annoying. So I guess that's what she meant by that tweet. But she also said later that a lot of the tweets were about reality TV shows and whatnot. So she was most likely reacting to someone from something like The Only Way is Essex complaining about why something's so expensive, not having a clue, kind of disconnected from it. Now onto the so-called homophobic ones. There's the one of her assisting somebody that was looking to try a bra. I'm guessing that's from the time she worked at New Look, and then the one about gay men spitting. Okay, guys, this is not homophobic. Do we all remember this clip from this movie? Gay! Making a joke does not make you homophobic. It does not mean that you hate all gay people or you hate all lesbians or whatever. A joke should be seen just as that, a joke. It's not that serious. People that take every little joke serious, like, I think maybe book yourself a holiday, go and chill somewhere, because I think you take life far too serious and you let way too many things get you angry. So that's all I'll say to that. I mean, I'm of the opinion that you should be able to joke about pretty much anything, and a joke is pretty much that, a joke. That's why I don't really blame comedians too much for saying things that a lot of people find offensive. And then this one, I can't really defend this here, Zoella. You lost all my respect. I can't believe you watch X Factor. Do you know what? Fuck this. I'm done with this video.
20 minutes later.
Just messing, guys. I mean, I hate X Factor, but again, it's another tweet about a reality show that's clearly made to be a joke. And then there's the one that really got on everyone's nerves, the obesity one. Now, I got to say, while I wouldn't perhaps use the same choice of words, I kind of agree with her here. If I was a parent and I had a kid that was overweight, I would not be beefing that kid up with McDonald's, KFC, Burger King every single day. I would be saying to that kid, you got to eat properly, you got to eat healthy. The one thing that I'm certainly going to do whenever I get around to raising kids is to make sure they have a proper balanced diet every day and they know what healthy eating is, because I think a lot of parents these days don't do that either. They don't have the time, or they don't realize what they're doing is potentially dangerous. It has health issues. It's not about a looks thing. Somebody overweight can have serious problems later on in life. So I think the obesity thing is a huge thing that we need to take seriously. And to just say, oh, it's okay to let parents feed their kids what they want, or it's okay to eat fast food whenever you like, I don't like that as an idea. Now, let me say here, I see that as slightly different from fat shaming, which is just somebody who is a little bit curvy that's not clearly overweight from just pointing at them and saying, oh, you're fat, you're this, you're that. That I don't agree with at all. But when it comes to the obesity issue, I'm 100% on that train. I think that is an issue that needs to be tackled, and it needs to be tackled fast. Now, while I think those tweets were not as bad as people are making them out to be, Zoella didn't agree with me. She thought that what she said was disgusting, and she put out this statement. I've seen a few of my old tweets from 7 or 8 years ago floating around, which I have now deleted, using words like chav, skank, and other words I wouldn't use now as part of my language, and a lot of them were taken out of context referring to TV shows, but I would never say those things now, and I'm sorry if I have offended anyone. That was not my intention. Obviously, that is not who I am today, and I'd like to think I'm a little older and wiser. I'm not perfect, and I've never claimed to be. I'm only human. Now, that as an apology is a pretty damn good one. Remember when Joey Salas faked the whole race baiting video about black people destroying the Trump car, and when he decided to apologize, he put it on his secondary channel and he came up with some bullshit excuse that didn't add up? She's owned it. She has said straight up, I don't agree with what I said before, and I'm very sorry for saying it. It was me from a different time. And the thing is, 5 years ago is a long time. If most people look back at themselves 5 years ago, I'm pretty sure they'll say they've come forward a lot. And people compared this to Donald Trump from the Access Hollywood tape where he was talking about Billy Bush. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, it's this.
You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab him by the pussy.
And what I'd say is, if you look at Zoella's actions in the past few years, she's been pretty much impeccable. With Donald Trump, it's a bit different. He still sends out similar messages. But I guess there were people that were still not happy with their apology and started sending this kind of stuff out. Alright, so y'all seem to be missing the point. Anyone else would get sacked for this. Teachers, politicians, labourers, etc. have been sacked for these kind of messages. But because it's Golden Girl Zoella, it's okay. Actions have consequences in the real world. Love hashtag Zoella is over party. People using the fact Zoella was only 20 when she wrote those tweets. I'm sorry, but am I on another planet? At 20 years old, you know right from wrong, and what is and isn't appropriate to say in real life and on social media. Hashtag Zoella is over party. And I get that Zoe's tweets were from 6 to 8 years ago, but come on, she was still around 20 years old. She wasn't a child who was being homophobic and fat shaming. She was a grown adult. Employers judge you by your social media from years ago, so why shouldn't we? Hashtag Zoella is over party. Well, employers judge you because of your social media, because they employ you and you represent their company and their brand. So take the PewDiePie situation, for example. He got dropped by Maker Studios, which is owned by Disney, even though it was found out that all the Nazi jokes he made were in a certain context and he wasn't actually anti-Semitic at all. Disney still dropped him because they didn't want somebody making Nazi jokes associated with a brand that's targeted towards children. In this case, Zoella is the boss of her own company. She is not answerable to anyone else. She is answerable to, I would guess, two groups of people. That is, one, her investors, and number two, her clients. Now, I'm guessing Zoella kind of has enough money to invest in her own channel, so I don't think there's a huge company hanging over her that kind of tells her what to do and what not. And her clients in this case is her fan base. That is the people who watch her videos. So if they find this kind of material offensive, they will decide to stop watching her videos, or they will decide, okay, she's grown up since then. It was a few years ago. I think what she does now is perfectly fine. I will carry on watching her videos. What's kind of weird is I find there's a lot of people in the Twitter sphere and around the internet blasting Zoella when they don't even tend to watch her content. And I'm sure somebody's going to say, Kay, you're not 12 to 14. Well, I came across Zoella first because I actually watch her boyfriend's channel a fair bit. So then because of that, I came across a few of her videos and I'll watch her here and there. I am subscribed to her. I think she does make pretty awesome content, even though it's not targeted at me. So I think if I have something to say that will weigh in on the debate, I'm going to defend her. And the thing is, I'm the same age as Zoella. My birthday is in December. Hers is in March or April, I think. So she's 2 to 3 months younger than me. And I know in 2012 and 2010, 5 to 7 years ago, I was a completely different person from what I am now. So I completely understand that a person can change a lot in those times. I think people should realize that before you point blame at someone. But those aren't the comments on Zoella that annoy me the most. That category is reserved for these. Zoella definitely votes Tory, LOL. At Zoella, hashtag Zoella is over party. She was 20 when she posted these. We are all accountable for past actions. Proves my personal theory about how much of a raging Tory she is. And Zoella is just a massive piece of shit, like a massive piece of classic privileged Tory scum. Okay, these ones annoy me in a different way. For those of you who don't know, A Tory is basically anyone who votes for and or supports the Conservative Party. They are one of the two main political parties in the United Kingdom. And the thing that gets me about this is that they're saying that because of whatever she tweeted 5 to 10 years ago, it proves that she's a Conservative Party supporter. First of all, there is nothing wrong with being a Conservative Party supporter. The Conservative Party in the United Kingdom are the party of limited government, low taxes and pro-free market. So Zoella being a business person, it doesn't surprise me if she did vote Conservative. I don't know if she does, because here's the thing, Zoella is apolitical. She has never discussed a political topic on her channel. The most political statement I think that Zoella has ever made is when she weighed in on the Brexit debate, which was, I think from the top of my head, one little emoji that she used. So I don't think just by that you can determine which political party Zoella supports in this country. That is, if she's even into politics at all, because that could always be an option too. So the fact that people are using these tweets to decide that they know where Zoella is on the political spectrum is a bit crazy. And the thing is, people should never be put down for their political views, because people vote for certain parties or support certain causes for reasons that are close to them, close to their family, close to their personal beliefs. You don't know their reasons. I don't know their reasons. You know your own reasons. I know my reasons. I may know your reasons if I have a conversation with you or I make a video telling you what my reasons are. But Zoella has done none of that. So we don't know what her political position is. And we shouldn't assume that because of a few tweets a few years ago that don't really have anything to do with anything political at all. And that is that, guys. I'm going to wrap this one up here. Just wanted to share those few thoughts with you. I don't really like people that send a lot of hate out online and blast people, especially when they don't watch them, when they're not fans or whatnot. So I will still continue to support Zoella. If you are a subscriber of her or you used to be a subscriber of her, I'd say make your own decision. Don't let the haters tell you. So that's a wrap. I'm off to find my iPhone 10 now. Hopefully I'll find it. I've been without it for a few days and it's really bugging me. And hopefully I will see you guys real soon. Peace!